Coach, what's your mindset moving forward? Obviously, without Mike, that's a big blow to this team, but next man up, huh?
Yeah, next man up. It's the NFL. We're going to miss Mike. He means a lot to us. As you guys know, he's one of the premier players at his position, and as I mentioned, he means a lot to us, but this is part of the NFL, and we're going to have to elevate our game around him, and it's going to give new opportunities for some guys, and we expect them to play well.
On Monday, on Derwin's hamstring, you said you know more in the next 48 hours. What have you learned about that hamstring issue over the last 48 hours?
Yeah, he didn't practice today, and his status is to be determined.
When you lose a key important player mentally, can that have a really bad effect on the team? How do you overcome that?
No, I mean, if you look at every injury report of every team in the NFL, all 32 of them, you're going to see a premium player that's on it. So it's just part of the NFL. And you move on and you make good plans, and each week is different. And when you face something like that, you got to adjust and get ready for a game. And so, today was our first day in trying to get ready for it.
There's a couple of guys listed with illness. Are they related? Do they have the same kind of symptoms?
No, they're different.
Is there any concern with a bunch of guys getting practice, including Khalil and Joey? Is there any concern with those guys?
No, I mean, they're just going to be, we'll keep updating you throughout the week, and their status for the game is to be determined.
Obviously, Q's play at TCU stood out, but when you guys drafted him, I mean, Keenan and Mike had injuries in the past. Was this kind of something that was in the mindset of picking up Q?
I think our mindset is we wanted to take the best player that was there at our pick, and we just feel like he had a lot of first-round caliber characteristics for a receiver, and felt like he brought a dimension that we were looking for in our offense, that big playmaking ability, run after catch ability, and we felt like his size would be a big asset for our team. We believe in that, and so his makeup, he was a captain at TCU, and we knew that he would improve because he was going to work hard, and he had a lot of talent, but his work ethic really stood out to us too. So he hasn't disappointed, and now he's just going to get a bigger opportunity.
Just as far as penalties, and specifically third down penalties, you guys have 7 third down penalties this year that have led to first downs, 12 overall, both lead the league. Obviously, every play is different. So when you're, as a coach, when you see that trend emerging, like how do you go about addressing it with the team? Is it individual play-by-play, penalty by penalty, and figuring out what went wrong, or is there more like a broader sort of approach to that kind of issue?
Yeah, I think each penalty has a different story, and what you're trying to do is get people play with the right technique, play with the right leverage, and I think each penalty is different, whether it was an actual penalty or not. What you're trying to do is educate why maybe that flag was thrown. There's some that we don't agree with, and there's some that we do, and the ones that we can learn from, that's what you're after, to play penalty free. But I know how much we emphasize it every day around here. It's a big part of our blueprint. That's why we have officials at every practice that we have, OTAs, training camp, and during the regular season. And our guys got to continue to learn and play, the right technique so that they can avoid, some of those penalties.
You're well aware of how meaningful this rivalry is with the Raiders going back 50 years.
Yeah.
Do you embrace that, or is it just another team to you?
Yeah, I mean, your division is the most important thing in your ability to make the playoffs and ultimately become a Super Bowl champion. You have to make sure that the division, you get to play those teams 6 times a year, and you understand that these traditions go back a long ways, and that there's a lot of pride in each franchise, and there's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium. All the division games, there's just a different caliber energy, and you know each other a lot better. Certainly with this group, with the same head coach, we've played these guys and they've played us, and so it's going to be a really big time environment on Sunday.
Brandon, you're facing another John Carroll guy. Just why do you feel like that's become such a hotbed for NFL scouts and coaches and stuff like that? And how close is the fraternity with John Carroll?
Yeah, John Carroll is just a really unique football place. You could say the stars have aligned there, but I don't think it's a coincidence the type of people that have come out of there, because it's in a lot of different eras. And I think why that place is special is because the place itself is really unique as a school, and then the football blueprint. It has a special footprint in the league, starting really in New England. But it's all levels of football. It's executives, it's coaches. it's scouts. So it's really a special place. I know it means a lot to all of us. It's kind of brought a lot of us together from different eras, and Dave and Josh, are a big part of that. They both played there, and then Matt Feeney's on that staff, a guy that played for me, that was a great player for us, and obviously we have Tom Arth and Telesco here, so just one of those special places, and proud to be a part of it.
The Raiders have some uncertainty at quarterback. How does that affect your planning and just game planning?
Yeah, just we know there's a big body of work with Brian Hoyer being in their system, and in several different locations, twice in New England and now being in Las Vegas. And then, we were able to see O'Connell play in the preseason and did a lot of work on him, coming out of the draft, So he's a guy that we definitely have to be prepared for as well.
With Austin, do you see anything, the way you look today that encourages you about this week?
Just getting him an individual was good. Get him out there with the guys, and that just means he's progressing and improving. And if you know Austin, he's going to do everything he can to get back.
Is he someone you've had to, calm down and explain to him, like, why he's not playing, or is he,
No, he's a pro, and we're going to make sure he's out there when he's ready.
With the bye week coming, does that factor into any of these injury considerations? Or
In certain cases, yeah.
You were called to try and ice the game in the fourth quarter. Now that you've had a chance to look back on tape on that, what did you see there, and why that wasn't successful, as opposed to maybe going with Justin in a quarterback sneak?
Yeah, they made a good line stunt on the play and got penetration kind of at the point of attack, and 90 made a good play, and so you got to give credit to them on that play.
Just with JC moving forward, is there a scenario where he would be active but not start, as opposed to this past game where he was inactive?
Yeah, I think all options are open.
And then obviously when you get blitzed that much, it's not just the offensive line or even the tight ends that are contributing pass protection, the running backs as well. Josh Kelly had 24 pass protection snaps, which is the most since 2012. Yeah. How did you feel like the running backs did in contributing to pass protection there when you guys were facing that much blitzing? Well,
I appreciate your knowledge there. I appreciate you doing the work. 24, that's specific, and I love that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Matt Forte was a hell of a back. I think what I mentioned after the game, it's the type of pressure that it was, because it's 6 or 7 guys coming every snap. So the fact that we avoided any of those huge hits, even forget the sacks, but just, man, did he take a beating? There wasn't any of that, and your backs have to be a big factor in that equation. So. Again, to tap my hats off to, Derek Foster, our offensive staff, for getting those guys ready. And then for Josh and Isaiah to go do the work, they were very impactful, because they were picking up a guy, every single time pretty much. So they were a big factor in Justin's success.
Was the win Sunday, even though it wasn't as clean as I'm sure you would have liked it, a move in the right direction in terms of this team learning how to win these tough games and tough environments, backs to the wall, a lot of adversity, especially with your defense at the end of this game?
Yeah, I like the way our guys stay composed in those gotta-have-it situations. We've been through a lot of games like that since I've been here, and I felt like our guys have been comfortable in those circumstances, and we emphasize it a lot. And I think coming out of it, that was one of the highlights for us, is the way we played in the situations in the game, end of half, end of game, red zone on both sides of the ball, and I felt like that's the sign of a good team. You got to be able to do that on the road, is pack your team on the road in a hostile environment. It was a must-win kind of game for both teams. And we were both playoff teams last year, so it was high caliber. And so proud of the guys. We finished the game, and so there was a lot to take away from that game.
Just with JT Woods, at that position specifically, you're only going to get so many opportunities to make those kinds of tackles in the deep part of the field. That prevented touchdown, missed one in the game on Sunday. So how do you sort of separate the development that you've seen from him, which I think we've all seen, from that one play on Sunday?
Great points, because it's a balance. And I think that you guys that have been with JT have known the progress that he's made. I think in the first 2 games, in the Miami game, I thought he tackled exceptionally well in that game. And then in the Tennessee game, he was a factor in that game. And so, back there at safety, there's going to be times where you miss. And every special safety that I've ever coached is going to have some misses. I think the process of, him being such a young player is just understanding the angles, the leverage. Hey, why did that miss happen? So that the next time you can continue to be aggressive in your approach. And he's learning. But I think the fact that he's gained more and more experience is going to be big for us over the course of the season. And when you can win a big game like that and learn from your mistakes, I think it helps you moving forward.